Howdy, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to Hillbilly Luxury. Today, we're going to take a look at this. A Seiko Monster. Not just any monster. This is the first gen monster, which is going for really high prices now. I was surprised. Anyways, I've inherited this watch from my grandfather. And we're going to take a look at it, and we're going to see if it really is worth those prices. Let's take a look. But we're going to take a look at it now and see how it's held up. Because, I mean, I think it's held up pretty good considering it was a daily worn watch. I mean, this thing, he never even took it off to take a shower or even go to bed. So let's take a look at that crystal on it. And you can see it's got some scratches because it has the original Hardlex, which is like a mineral glass. You can see some scratches right there. But overall, I mean, the case and everything is in pretty dang good condition. The crown still screws in good. It's got a good pop. Set the time. Make sure we're not at the midnight position. Okay. So we'll go in one and we'll see how the date works. Looks like we're... Okay, there goes the date. So that's working. Let's go the other way. And there goes Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So that's working good. And we're just going to do a date cycle real quick. See if it snaps over. Yep. And that should, there it is, yeah. Okay, so, and I was assuming that it would. I haven't worn it very much, since he's passed. But, I normally, I have so many other watches. This one's a mechanical. And one of the downsides to this watch, speaking of it, is when it does die, and it loses a wind, you can't wind it. Unfortunately, this is the old movement, which I would prefer, the NH35s or whatever they are on now that have the hacking and hand winding, because I don't like to have to sit here and do this, because if someone sees you from the back, you look like you're doing a little bit of, something inappropriate here. But anyways, let's take a look at this bezel here and see how that sounds. We'll bring it up close. Yeah, it's a pretty good bezel. I'm not sure how I feel about the crown guards because you have to get it from here. But I've known they put in the newer ones. I noticed they put the tunas with the guards over here. But you got these guards here, so really you can't turn from this. You have to turn from the 9 and 3 to change your bezel. Which I guess that's a safety thing, if you're diving or whatever, you don't want to bump it, and then less real estate to get it caught on something with those guards. I've always liked the scalloped edges. I always thought that was neat. That was a very interesting touch. It's got these deep gouges that match up to the bezel. The grip is very good, though. I will say that. I mean, when you're getting a hold of it with your hand or a glove, I'd assume you can do it. You can get a good turn. I did put a little bit of oil on this bezel. It was very stiff. Like I said, he wore it for so long that I'm sure it's very, it was corroded up underneath there. But I mean, I couldn't even. I had to use everything I had to turn the bezel, and I gave it a good scrubbing with a toothbrush, and and rinsed it out. And I put a couple of drops of the same oil you use to lubricate hair trimmers. And it freed it right up. So now it turns really good. So shouldn't have any problems from here on as long as I keep it clean. And if it does get worse, I can always pop the bezel off. But I'd rather not have to do that because sometimes things don't go back the way they go off. So let's take a look at this clasp here. And you can see the back of the watch is not exactly as clean as it could be. But, like I said, it was a daily worn watch. I'm not a big fan of this milled, not milled, but the absence of a milled clasp. It's stamped. It does its job. So, and I know that's always been a problem with a lot of Seikos for the price. What you pay for You get a stamped clasp and a terrible, like, I mean, can we just agree that that is a terrible location to put a diver's extension? Like, the only way to access it is from underneath. You pull it out, and then that's your diver's extension. Like, and I mean, it was obvious. It was like, man, I don't see why they chose this end instead of this end to put the diver's extension. But I mean, I would have been in that design team. I would have been like, no, guys, let's not do that. But anyways, when it comes to the bracelet, it's push pins, and I've noticed some of the pins look like they're trying to back out. I've been making sure they're pushed in. It probably has collars that are probably missing by now. Who only knows who owned this before him? And maybe they didn't put the collars back in. But personally, I'm thinking about putting it on a end mill by Strap Code, and I'll put a picture up right now. That's what I'm thinking about putting on it, because I think it looks good on that. I mean, personally, this bracelet's okay, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he's want to take it off the original monster bracelet." But I mean, I'm not going to throw the bracelet away. I'm going to keep it, clearly. But I think it would look. I think it'd just be nicer on a bracelet with some screws, screw links, and I can get it dialed in pretty good, and a milled clasp. I just think it would be nicer, and upgrade it a little bit. There's nothing wrong with upgrading your watch. But there it is on wrist. Yeah, I mean, it fits pretty good. I mean, look, it doesn't dig the crown. The crown doesn't dig too bad. I mean, you see, you get a little bit of it there, but it's where it's at the 4 o'clock position. You really don't have to deal with it digging in. And the size dimensions, I mean, I've got like an 8-inch wrist, so it fits me pretty good. I'm in that Goldilocks zone where I can wear pretty much any watch, as long as it's, it doesn't go beyond, if it goes beyond 45 millimeters, I start to get where it's too uncomfortable, and it just, like, I'm not gonna wear an uncomfortable watch. But yeah, let's check out some B-roll. Now that you're back from that, let's take a look at the loom on this thing. And as you can see, the loom is outstanding. I mean, that's one of the telltale features of a good Seiko is the loom. I mean, their loom it's just top notch. Anyways, in conclusion of this watch, is it worth the price that people are demanding for these? And personally, I have to say no. And here's the reason. It is a first generation monster, but there's not much differentiation between it and the other monsters. and I believe the newer ones are actually cheaper than the first generations. And when you look at Seiko in general these days, they aren't doing so hot in the value department overall, because you're paying $400 for a watch, that in this case doesn't have hand wind. It doesn't have hand winding. It doesn't have a sapphire crystal. It has a stamped clasp. And if this was $100 less, then yeah. See, when you get over to a certain point, it's kind of hard to justify paying that compared to other watches. And at that point, it's really about personal preference. If you really love this watch, then the price doesn't matter. It's subjective. So if you're gonna spend the money, you're gonna buy what you want to buy. And there are homages to this. Even a Long Island watch makes a nice looking, some very nice looking homages to these. I was actually looking at the loom dial version with the black markers, and I was like, man, that's cool, because even Seiko didn't do that. And they're a lot cheaper. Either they're cheaper, or they're right at the same price as one of these used. So, now that you got stuff like this right here, this is a cheaper watch, and I've compared this San Martin to my friend's Omega, and in hand, when you're holding them, this feels as high of quality. It feels as high of quality. It's insane. When you pick up a luxury watch, you could feel, you can feel the quality in it, and it's amazing for the price. And this is cheaper than this, and this is brand new. So, and I don't want to get, on this watch, because I love that watch. That San Martin is a comfortable, beautiful watch, but I'll probably make a video on it soon. But anyways, I don't want to ramble on this too much, but, if anything, I hope this gave you a look at a Seiko monster, and, to help, maybe help you justify or not when it comes to buying this. Like I said, I inherited it. It's a different story for me. Would I have bought it otherwise? I don't believe I would have. Maybe if I came across it at a yard sale or flea market, or, I had seen one and it was at a bargain, of course. But if I was to go online, and after not trying one on, and just seeing pictures of it, there's so many other watches out there. And I just have a hard time these days justifying the price of a Seiko, and that's unfortunate, because I love Seiko, but I hate their pricing strategy. They've gotten so expensive, while their quality hasn't kept up, while other brands and markets are starting to surpass them for less money. But anyways, thank you guys for checking out the video, and thanks to all of my subscribers. I'm up to almost 70 subscribers now. It's unbelievable, and I'm so grateful. You wouldn't believe it. I tell people all the time, I'm like, you wouldn't believe how many subscribers I've gotten from my watch channel. It's insane. But anyways, y'all have a good night or day, no matter where in the world you are.